Hello and welcome to Mediumship Matters with me, Hannah McIntyre. And you'll be able to tell because I can always tell when I listen to one that's being interviewed. You can always tell because I sound different on my intro that I'm excited or something. But I'm even more doubly, triply, 100 times more excited today because today I have convinced my darling friend, supporter, colleague, love of my life, Amanda, to come on and talk to us about law of attraction. Hi, Amanda.
Hi, Hannah.
We're trying to be normal. I said to her, I'm going to tell everyone that we're friends because otherwise it'll be really weird because they'll be like, these two have got some weird energy going on. So we are really good friends. We spend a lot of time together. Amanda helps me at most of my events and is my general cheerleader. And she picks me up off the floor when I'm a weeping mess and tells me it's going to be okay. And it always is. So, Amanda, let's start at the beginning.
Okay.
How did you find yourself finding out about law of attraction and manifestation?
Well, probably like a lot of people, the book The Secret happened to land in my lap. My mum gave it to me, and when I first opened it, I thought, what the hell? And put it back down. And then I don't know what came first, whether I was nearing my 40th birthday over 10 years ago now. And I was having like a bit of a midlife crisis type thing. And I picked the book up. Or I actually got referred to a counsellor who happened to be a Buddhist monk. Yeah. So
Wow.
I've always been interested in Buddhism. Read a little bit about it, but I went to see him and he asked me why I was there. So I said, well, I'm depressed. And he said, okay, and asked me why. So I explained. And he said, okay, people that suffer with depression are living in the past, and people that suffer with anxiety are living in the future. And actually, none of those moments exist. We only have now. He told me to research somebody called John Kabat-Zinn, who is massive in the world of mindfulness. So when I got home, I Googled him and watched a clip on YouTube and did a mindfulness meditation with him. And oh my God, it was just amazing. So I've done a Hannah and I've digressed.
No, I love it. Do it. This is what this podcast is all about. No one who listens expects anything to stay on track. Keep going. I'm listening.
Okay. So, yeah. And that little part of my brain that was constantly chattering in a negative way and causing so many issues and dramas in my head stopped. And that's all that I had wanted. I had just wanted to take that part of my brain out just to give myself a break. It's exhausting. Mm-hmm. So going back to The Secret, I happened to open the book again at this point and started to read, and a few things started to hit home. And then you come to a part in it about looking for something specific, asking the universe for something specific. Now, I think in the book it's a feather, but anyway, I decided that it would be a tiny little white oval stone with a flat bottom. And in a way, it was a bit of a test because I didn't know what the hell this book was saying. But also, I lived in Deal, which is near a beach. And I thought, easy, absolutely easy. So I take myself off for a walk on the beach, no little pebble. So I left it. I almost forgot about it. And then one day I went for a run, and on my way home, glowing at me like a little light in my front garden was this little white pebble oval with a flat bottom. And it was like a bolt of life had just entered me. It was one of those mind-blowing moments that people talk about when they start these spiritual journeys, but I didn't know it was a spiritual journey. No idea. And I didn't know that the Buddhism manifesting And obviously then getting to know you, I did not know it was all connected. I didn't know that it's all energy, laws of the universe. Everything is just all connected. And I have been mind blown in the last 10 years, things accidentally falling in my path, like inspiration to read things and research people and research things. So 10 years later, here we are. And I've manifested some incredible things.
I want to talk to you about what you've managed to manifest. But first, I want to talk to you about, can you explain manifestation for a complete beginner? What the heck is it? And why does everyone talk about it all the time?
Okay, so manifesting is basically, you need to realize that everything is vibration.
Mm-hmm.
And unknowingly, for the majority of people, I think, we create so much of our reality. So I was in poor me victim mode.
Yes.
And then I realized actually that I was creating so much of it myself. So I realized that I was actually powerful in creating not great stuff. So I decided to turn it around. And the universe likes detail. It doesn't want you being wishy-washy, because then the universe is wishy-washy. You need to know what you want, be clear with what you want, and then wait for the universe to catch up with your dream and for you to get on to the right vibration to achieve your dreams.
Mm-hmm.
And you can manifest material things, situations, people, because I manifested you.
Yeah, she did, everyone. It's a bit creepy, really. And I'm sure she's regretting it every moment since. I didn't think it was going to be like this. Well, tough now. It's like a Grimm's fairy tale. You got what you asked for in all its glory. Yeah. Okay. So manifesting is changing your vibration and creating the life that you want, whether that is physical things or experiences or feelings. It applies to anything, doesn't it?
Yeah, absolutely anything. Yeah.
So many questions I want to ask you. Tell us what you have manifested. What have you created for yourself on this journey?
Okay, so obviously the first thing I manifested was my little white pebble. Then I did my first vision board, and The Secret talks about vision board, and it's just putting pictures on a board of specific things that you want. So the first one had a black convertible Peugeot. I manifested that within 4 months.
Of course you did.
I had a picture of a piece of upcycled furniture. I didn't know what I wanted to do, to be honest, but I knew that I was interested in doing up bits of furniture and dealing with secondhand stuff. And I also printed off a picture of my own business card. That's all it said on it. So it's just a business card. Within 6 to 8 months, I had manifested a business with a friend where we would upcycle furniture. We had a shop. My sister-in-law is an incredible graphic designer. So I was talking to her about this little dream, if you like. And the next thing, she's designed a logo for me, all the artwork needed for signage, business cards. Then I manifested my husband. Then I manifested my house that I'm in now. And
when you talk about your house, because obviously I know this story from Nights Over Red Wine, but explain to everyone what you mean when you say you manifested your house, because it's quite interesting.
Okay, so I wanted a period building. It's 400 years old. I wanted it to be in a village between two towns, and it is in between those two towns. I wanted roses in the front garden. I have roses. Gravel driveway. I have gravel driveway. I wanted a picket fence. I've got 6 foot of picket fence. 4 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, water. I wanted it to be near water. I have a well in my garden. An open fire. What else is there? A pub. I wanted to be
the pub.
near a
Don't
pub.
forget the pub.
I can see the pub from my city.
You can.
And I wanted places in the village where we could get married. Now, this is only a small hamlet. There are 3 places in the village where we could get married, and we got married in the village. So yeah, that's just a few things that I wanted from a house and got it.
So taking law of attraction all the way back, it's about finding out what you want and then getting yourself, talk to us about getting in vibrational alignment with what you want. What do you mean by that?
Okay, you have to have faith. You have to know that you're going to get it. Just like when you order something from Amazon, you know it's coming. Mm-hmm. You don't sit there and think, right, okay, how's it going to be wrapped up? Who's going to wrap it up? Who's going to deliver it? How long is it going to get here? You don't think about that. You just know that it's going to happen and you carry on your life. A bit like your podcast, when you mentioned this morning that I listened to about Gloria. You don't think about the how. With my house, what I did do was I would go on a diversion from work to home, my previous home, on the route as if I was driving to my new house. You visualize yourself opening the door. Christian and I went to the pub over the road and had lunch, and we were talking about the house like it was ours. So you're basically living it before you get it. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. And as you will have heard me say this morning, because you know this is my next question, bloody hard though, isn't it?
Really hard.
Like, it was a real lesson to me getting Gloria just so quickly and with such ease, because I had no resistance, because I was so on the fence about it. It's easy to be on the fence about something that you're on the fence about, but when it's something that you care about, you know, and this is where I always fall down, is it's like having a tooth removed and you keep putting your tongue in it and you're going, you can't leave it alone. You keep pressing that button. So what are your tips to get out the bloody way?
One of my tips is to do mindfulness, to be honest, because we can obsess about things that we want and that we haven't got, and of course then you're thinking about the lack of it, which puts up resistance. You're blocking yourself. So you do have to just put it out there and carry on with your life. Something else is, if it doesn't come to you, it's because there is something better meant for you. And so don't worry about not getting it and, oh, I'm not doing it right. How am I going to get this? You've just got to know that I am going to get it. But actually, if I don't, there is something so much better coming for me.
And how do you tally the knowledge or experiences that you need to have to get you where you need to be? Because you know that I talk about this in my book that you have proofread for me, but because I think there's something that isn't really talked about in law of attraction, about I can't just manifest myself to be a doctor. I need to have a qualification. So how does that fit in with it from your perspective?
For me, there are lessons and journeys that we need to go on to get us to be the best of us, to get that manifestation. my husband, for example, I knew him years ago, and I always thought he was the most beautiful man that I'd seen. And we didn't.
Oh no, not this again. Oh, she's obsessed with him. Please stop. No, mute it, mute it.
I know, but the things I wrote that I wanted from him, and it's like boom, 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 tick them all off. So anyway, I've lost where I was going.
Sorry. It's just so funny. He has no idea how loved he is. He's just it, you know, we would all want someone who worships us like that. It's so funny. Anyway, carry on.
Yeah.
As you were.
So if we'd got together then, I don't think we would have worked, because our vibrations wouldn't have been right.
Mm-hmm.
They wouldn't have matched. So I had to go through a long time, a lot of lessons to match up with him.
Mm-hmm.
I think that there are experiences that we don't want to be without, to be honest. We don't want to get from here to there without experiencing the journey.
Absolutely.
It would be no fun.
What's the point?
Yeah, exactly. And you wouldn't be grateful for it. So that's something else. In law of attraction, it's massive, is being grateful, because it's such a high vibrational feeling. And the universe knows that you're grateful for what it's given you, that you've asked for. And so, yes, I want to get from here to there, but actually I don't, because I could miss out on so much fun. I'm still fully full-time work, but I've got this on the side, and I got frustrated and impatient not long ago, didn't I? I was like, why am I still doing my job? I don't want to be doing my job. But actually, if I manifested my dream now, I wouldn't be having the fun and doing the work and creating what I'm creating. I wouldn't have that time. I would just be thrown into my dream, and I'd miss out on so much. I'd miss out on on my own evolvement.
Yeah, I completely agree. It's not fun when you're in it, especially for me, because I am, as you know, super impatient, and I'm manifesting things at the speed of light, but it's still not quick enough. Please, universe, thank you very much. So it is hard. Now, talk to me about money, because money, we have, especially spiritual people, I think, we have so many judgments on being financially wealthy, charging what we're worth. It's a very complex space. What are your thoughts about money, guilt about money, all that?
Okay, so one of the biggest things I learned, that actually money is just an energy exchange. That was massive for me. It frustrates me a little bit that society has made money the biggest thing. And then we are also allowing other people to tell us our worth. So something like pricing for your time, we tend to do research on other people and think we should be in a specific price bracket. One of those reasons being because I haven't got this much experience, or I haven't got that qualification like they have. I haven't got the followers, all of that. Why are we judging ourselves against other people, letting other people give us our value?
Yeah.
So the right people will come to, again, I think I'm digressing a little bit, aren't I?
No, I love it. Go for it.
Okay. So, but I do believe that the right people will come to you. So you have to know your worth. People like people that know their worth. It's actually a really nice energy to be around. You've really helped me with my own journey on that, and the guilt. I think especially doing mediumship and wanting to help people,
but also recognizing that when you charge too little, vibrationally, you're not going to attract the people that you want to work with who are ready for what you offer. And so there's so much tied up in it. It's such an interesting space to be. So if you were going to give all of the listeners 5 tips for how to manifest what they want, where would you start them off with?
Okay, I would probably not go too big too soon, although you could have a long-term manifestation board, because that's when we get resistance. We start doubting. We think, well, and thinking about the how. So, we'd all like to win the lottery. We'd all like millions of pounds, but we have that resistance in us. So I started, this is something else that was on my first vision board. You can print off a check from the Secret website. So I had a check on my vision board for £50,000, which I thought, that's not massive. It's realistic. When I sold my house to buy a house with Christian, the equity that I had from my house was exactly £50,000. So just like I say, you can have a long-term vision board or manifestation dream, but just don't make it unrealistic for yourself, because you have doubts. So just start small.
Yeah. What else could they do to?
They could look at what they really want and what they don't want. Is we have contrast in our lives, as Abraham Hicks says, and we all need that to know what we do want after we know what we don't. And so be specific. If I wanted a job that took me off places, but I also wanted to get a new dog, if I get that job that took me off to places, I wouldn't be spending time with my dog.
Yeah.
So again, you've got to think about the effects that what you're asking for.
Interesting.
Yeah.
And prioritize, I guess. Decide which is the thing you want the most.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. It's fascinating, because that's very practical, and people don't think of that. We just think, I want it all. And so from your point of view, things that are going wrong, we shouldn't be viewing as punishments, or sometimes it's for that contrast to teach us.
Definitely.
I love it.
Definitely. Yeah. And so just see it all as a lesson. When the horrible things happen, think, what can I learn from this? What can I take from this? And then what can I use from it to create what I want my life?
I mean, I can totally relate to that, because we've had on demonstrations with me such a lesson in the last 18 months. I'm always asking you how long it's been, and I'm always getting it wrong, but just feels like it's always been. But haven't we? Because we started off, with smaller audiences, and then we decided certain venues, we didn't want to put the chairs out, we wanted a bar, and it's just been refined and refined and refined and refined, and still continues to be. And I have to say, now I'm more comfortable, less, I don't know, neurotic about it, rather than go, oh my God, this isn't quite right. It's more of a, okay, well, I know I can work in it not be quite right, but I've learned something for next time about what I want. And so I feel like it's always being refined. Yes. So I get what you mean. You could go, oh, I can't believe the spirit world gave me that experience in that space, but actually it's helped me really build the vision that I want. So, and I couldn't have had the vision that I've got for the Dems this year 2 years ago, because I still had to process all of the stuff about self-doubt, whether I thought I could do it, whether I was worth it, etc., etc. So you can apply that in everything, I guess.
Yes.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Talk to me about timelines. How good? So obviously you talking about a check reminds me of Jim Carrey and his famous check story about how he wrote himself a check for £1 million dated in a year's time, and then got paid that for the mask. And I love that story. What do you feel about putting a date on it?
Again, I think it depends on the amount and the amount that you're asking for and the amount of resistance. You've got to know yourself. You've got to know your blocks. Upbringing is a big thing as well, our conditioning. We tend to bring the views of money from our upbringings and our parents, because somebody who doesn't have much money when they're growing up tends to think that's how life is. So again, be realistic to what you believe.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to manifest £5,000 last summer, and I know that £5,000 is quite attainable, really, for most people. I did it within a week, but that's because I know I can do it.
Yeah.
The more you do law of attraction, the more proof you see, the more you believe it, and the more capable you are.
So that's why you say start small, because
yeah.
And so it's not actually that it's easier for the universe to manifest you something small. It's just easier for you to believe that that is achievable, which negates the resistance.
Absolutely.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I know I had a big figure I was manifesting last year. Didn't even make any of it. I didn't make any of it. But I also know that's because I spent the whole year going, 6 months left. When's it coming? We're running out of time. We're at the halfway mark. I haven't got any of it. It's not coming. And it's a bollock, law of attraction. I mean,
it is.
I get it, but it's hard.
Yeah.
And I think there's a lot of spiritual sort of gaslighting you see out there in law of attraction groups, where it's kind of like, oh, you haven't done it, you've done something wrong. And the reason why I like your teaching about it so much is because you accept the tangled web of humanity within it. We're not going to get it right all the time. No. We are going to mess it up. Yeah, I mean, I think I would be scared to sit in front of Esther Hicks. I would never ask a question, because I feel like they would see into the depths of the soul of me and just be like, you have not surrendered to anything. You are a pit of eternal resistance. And I'd be like, yes, I know. And then she'd tell me off, because she can be fierce. So yeah.
But amazing.
Yeah, amazing, because she's so confident in it. She doesn't sugarcoat it, and we need it. That's why I listen to it, because I go, yes, I know, I'm so sorry.
Yes.
But you have to, that energy works really well for me. So you would say for a beginner, perhaps not sort of saying I need it by this date, because then that date becomes a fixation of.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And you'll be thinking, like you were saying about last year with money.
Yeah.
I've only got 2 months left.
Yeah.
It's not going to happen. How's it going to happen? And you start bringing in the how.
Yeah.
Business.
I definitely did that, because when it got to the end of the year, towards the end of the year, Christmas time, I was like, it's going to have to be a lottery win then.
Yeah.
Because there's no way that money's coming in from anywhere else. And I got like 0 pence of it, just to be clear. Like, I didn't make a profit last year. Like, but I also understand that I needed to go. Sometimes we have to go through those journeys to change us, to have that experience, to understand it. What a contrast from making no profit to manifesting a whole dog with everything I wanted. Like, it's,
there you go.
You can see it. It's just not fun to experience it.
Yeah.
So there's no bypass.
No.
So while we are talking about this, tell everybody about your amazing mentorship program, because I know you've got some great things going on.
I have. So I've got a Facebook page, which the universe gave me a big kick up the bum with. We got talking about it, didn't we? And you said, just create a page and you don't have to publish it. So the very next day I did that, and it didn't give me the option to not publish it, just publish. So I was like, boom, okay, here we go. But
I didn't know that was going to happen, just to be clear. That wasn't my dastardly plan.
So basically, they're individually tailored programs. I'd be working with you, talking about what you want to manifest, the life that you want to create. And then we'll be working, depending on your situations that come along, to go round them, get through them, work through your blocks, work through your resistance, get to know you more. So it would be, it's a series of one-to-one meetings to get to know you, because so many of us don't know ourselves actually. And we think we want something, and once you get talking about it, that's not actually what you want.
For sure.
Because again, abundance, the word abundance, people want money. Yes, that's abundance. But actually, once you realize that you've got abundance in other areas of your life, that makes you feel rich. And that's what you've got to have. You've got to have the feeling that it's already happened.
Yeah.
So I feel abundant with my life. And so actually I'm rich already, which then makes it easier to bring more riches in.
I love it. So you work individually with people over a sort of progression, isn't it? A progressive period of time, so they can come back and we can see what's coming up, and then you can work through that with them and help them to expand and create.
Because this work doesn't take 5 minutes. It doesn't take 2 weeks. It can do for some people, but it depends how open you are to changing and learning about yourself, and how honest you want to be with yourself. Actually, that's a massive thing. If you're willing to see which obstacles you are putting in your own way, if you're able to see those, it's easier to break them down and to move forward.
And so, I think part of the problem is, I mean, I've talked about this in a reading scenario, but people actually, there's a big ethos in us all where we just want to be told that we have no control. We just want to be told that this is the cards we've been dealt and we've got to make the best of it. And so there's a lot of stuff, even for me, and I'm quite a positive person, I would say, most of the time, but there's a lot of stuff that comes up in my own resistance that you wouldn't necessarily expect to be there, and you have to acknowledge it. You have to sit with it.
Yeah, definitely. One of my friends, he visualized retiring at 55. He's bought properties, he rents them out, he's worked really hard, and he's now there. But all these years he's done nothing but moan about being at work and that he hates work and he wants to get loads of money so he can leave. We were talking the other day and he said, well, why can't I manifest that money to leave? And I said to him, you've manifested what you wanted. You wanted to retire at 55, and that's what you're doing.
Yeah.
You've done it. So the desperation as well of the money that is not good with law of attraction. If you are desperate for something, needing, yearning it, that is actually focusing on the lack of it. So yeah,
that's interesting, because that's what I've been talking about with regards to sitters' expectations in readings. So I wonder how much of law of attraction and manifestatory energy actually works in a reading scenario.
Definitely. I'm sure a lot of people say, I'm not going to hear from them. I'm not going to hear from that person. And then they don't. And then,
or want it so much that they make it, they're looking at the lack of it. Yeah, you've got my grandma here. I wanted to hear from my dad, and not giving it a chance to expand and grow. Like you say, there's so many crossovers and the web and I love it.
It's fascinating. Absolutely fascinating.
I love it. So your Facebook page is the Creative Collective. But I will put a link to it in the show notes so people can go check you out. And one of the things that you did for the month of January, which was lovely, was a post a day. So there is already a huge amount of information, because people could go back and access that, couldn't they?
Yes.
And do it one a day and just start building into that power and that energy.
Because it's essential to be happy.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you've taught me about spirit, the connection, you know, the universe and everything, and it's all about love, and that's what spirit want for us. That's what we're meant to be.
Mm-hmm.
So if we can keep our vibration up, we are more able to attract good things, and what we want for ourselves are good things. We all want to be happy. We all want freedom. We all want fun and abundance. And so, yes, they were January daily do's, and January is a very long month, isn't it?
Yes.
Because not only do you get paid early, so then you've got to wait over 5 weeks to the next pay packet. Christmas is a long build up, and then it's almost, you almost see the week after Christmas connected to January for me.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, oh, and it's middle of winter and everybody gets so down. And
this year we had a very wet and grey one in the UK, didn't we? So it was very meh.
Yeah, we did. So yes, it was just something to focus on, a little task, if you like, something to think about, something different. And it just highlights that if you do one tiny change a day, how much your energy can change, which then can then attract different things into your life.
Amen to that, sister.
Oh.
One last shout out, because Amanda is joining us on our July retreat, and she's going to be hosting a vision board workshop and talking to you all about law of attraction. So we've still got a few spaces left. We would love to have you join us. And thank you so much for sharing your knowledge and your shiny self with us all today. I hope you've enjoyed it. Wasn't too bad.
I have. It's a little bit scary, like being on Popmaster on Ken Bruce.
Popmaster, Ken Bruce. I think I've got a bit more hair than Ken Bruce, but only just.
You're much prettier.
Oh, poor Ken. Poor Ken. So yeah, thank you very much for talking to us all. And
thank you for having me.
I hope everyone's enjoyed it.